On this week's show, Black Friday sales are out there.
And we have new footage of the video game for the bike, Lanebreak, and much, much more.
Welcome to Pelo Buddy TV, a show for the Peloton community by the Peloton community. Here are your hosts, Amanda Siegel and John Pruitt.
Welcome to episode 61 of Pelo Buddy TV, a show for the Peloton community by the Peloton community. I'm Amanda Siegel, and I'm joined by my co-host, John Pruitt. Hey, John.
Hey now, how's it going, Amanda?
It is good. It is good. It's been a good week. As you can see, I'm still, adorning my London Apparel. I'm going to give my buddy Rodrigo at the Harrods store another plug. He's become my new bestie. I just adore him. And I got to tell you, the stuff's great. So I'm definitely using it as much as I can. But we got lots to talk about apparel, that's for sure. How's your week been?
My week's good so far. You've got your new apparel on. I thought I would put on a throwback from Peloton Apparel circa 2018. Let me just stand up so you can get a good view. But summer of 2018, Dennis had a very limited run. So this is his Henley, which I almost never wear. But he also had a full zip-up hoodie and some sort of sweatpants shorts. It was very much a like a beach style Dennis vibe, because that's his thing. Nice.
So, been a busy week for you though, on every other level?
Busy week, and I'm already in vacation mode because I'm off from my regular job all Thanksgiving week. So I'm looking forward to the break. My mom's coming into town. Jackson will be off from school, so I'm already in vacation mode, so yeah. But it's been a nice week easing into it.
Definitely, yeah. I get Nicole gets home this weekend, and I get Kayla in the middle of the week. So yeah, I'll have everybody home from Wednesday for at least 4 or 5 days, and be a happy mommy. So that's always good. Nice. Yeah. Well, John, you know what? We have tons to talk about, so let's get the show on the road. Before we get started, folks, we always like to remind you how you can keep up to date with all of our content across all of our platforms. Every episode is, of course, released on our YouTube channel. Just hit the subscribe button at the bottom right-hand side of the video and hit the notify button to make sure that you never miss an episode.
And we are also on all traditional. Sorry, I'm distracted by Maddie behind me making an appearance. I've got company today. We are on all traditional podcast platforms. So if you're on the go, just search Pelo Buddy TV and click subscribe, hit notifications so you never miss an episode, and leave us a review if you like what you hear, or if you have suggestions for how we can improve the show. We really appreciate your feedback.
Yeah, I have to say that we've gotten some really cool reviews lately, and we got to kind of pull them and read a couple of them, John, because there've been some lovely comments out there, and it's always appreciated. So we really do appreciate that we've got some momentum going, and you folks are enjoying the show, even though John and I can definitely go on a little long. I was talking to one fabulous member, Zag's fangirl, and it takes her 3 days to hear the show. She has it on podcast, and she takes
she has to break it up.
Isn't that so? Well, no, she just says she uses it on her ride to and from picking up a little one from school, and I was like, oh my God, Nicole! I said, seriously, you listen to us for 3 days? She goes, I love it, and I get upset when it comes to an end. It's like, I look forward to the next week so I can get the momentum back up and going. So Zag's fangirl, thank you so much for letting us know that you don't mind John and I bantering on the way that we do. But we do have lots to share with you today. But of course, folks, we are, of course, on Facebook and Instagram. I know that those of you watching the show, no question that you are on there too. But just search Pelo Buddy and follow us on those platforms for all of the latest news. And John, let's get on with the show.
Let's go.
First, let's do a rundown of the latest Pelo news.
All right, so folks, as the US Thanksgiving holiday approaches this coming weekend, Peloton is pulling out all the stops. Late last Monday night, Peloton began rolling out their 2021 Black Friday discounts and sales, as well as Cyber Monday sales. So folks can find discounts on the Peloton Bike, the Bike Plus, and the Tread. We also have learned that the Peloton showrooms have in-store discounts up to about 40%. And we also know that the deals will be online too. So initially we weren't sure. We had gotten information that it was going to be in stores, but in fact, just this past Friday, we did find out that there will be sales everywhere. So as we know, there's so much more merchandise than there had been in the past, and I guess they do want to turn stuff over. There are definitely certain lines that will not be on sale. If you can find any Ivy Park, and if you want any Ivy Park, that's not going to be on sale. There are a couple other things. That won't be on sale either. But the dates for the 2021 Peloton Black Friday discounts are back from November 15th right through to November 30th. And for any of you wondering if Peloton will honor their Black Friday discounts if you've recently purchased any of the hardware, their support page for Black Friday says to contact them via chat, indicating that they are likely going to be able to. The window is usually 30 days. So if anyone's bought anything within the last 30 days, you should get a discount. There have been reports, though, from the UK that some members have gotten an automatic refund. So they didn't even have to ask for it, but they did, in fact, get a credit back to their method of payment. So
nice.
yeah, it is nice. So anything that you can save would be good. So lots to shop for.
And I'm heading up to in the next day or so, I'm heading up to my local Peloton showroom in Troy, Michigan. And in case you didn't know, for anyone watching or listening, if you have referral codes, you can use them in the showroom. So if you don't want to, pay if you have multiple codes and, you can only use one code per order, and then you got to pay, shipping multiple times. If you're near a showroom, go visit your local showroom and see what they have that's on sale or what you can buy in person with your referral code. So I'm definitely going to use a couple.
Yeah, that's an awesome little tidbit because I did not know. So that's great. That's awesome. Good.
Yeah, so I've got a couple. I know they've got a hoodie on hold for me, but yeah, I'll be curious to see what else they have in stock. Because I haven't been there. It's been almost 2 years since I was at the showroom when we did a Sunday morning live event with a Jen Sherman ride.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been into a showroom either. I'm not crazy about the one that I have close to me. But the one in Miami I've gone to, in Aventura I've gone to a couple times, and they're fantastic. I love them there. So, and then of course for you folks in London, go to the Harrods showroom and get all
Amanda's
the London
boy,
apparel.
Rodrigo,
and go
what's
and
his
see
name?
Rodrigo. Absolutely, go visit my buddy Rodrigo and Iona. I can't think of the other two names right now, but it is fun. It is fun, and it's it is nice to have a connection to your showroom, your showroom staff, because I think that a lot of folks, I know that our buddy out in Long Island, Sandy, will get, her guy calls her up and says, "Hey Sandy, I got stuff in, come and take a look." So it is nice to have a connection, with your showroom salesperson. So definitely look into that.
The Troy, Michigan showroom is great. I just wish it was closer because it's kind of, it's 35 plus minute. It's kind of a hike, but
that is a bit of
but
a
I've
hike,
always,
yeah.
When we got our second bike and we got the Tread Plus, I always give them the sale.
Nice.
And then I, if I have a referral, they still apply it, but I still want to give my local showroom, the business because it helps their numbers,
their sales,
their sales goals. Yeah.
Absolutely. Awesome. All right, what's up next?
So moving on. Oh, and in case anyone's wondering if we were going to discuss the Jess King fiance Sophia story, we're not going to touch that. So if you wanna listen to the discussion about that, you can tune into one of the other Peloton related podcasts. And just a heads up, if we're not the TMZ type Peloton podcast. So Amanda, we have an update on the upcoming release of Peloton's video game for the Bike and Bike Plus, right now called Peloton Lanebreak. So we had reported on it a couple times, a couple previous episodes, but now we have some actual beta testing footage. And I looked at it. I'm actually really excited about this now, because when Chris Lewis threw this story in here, I was wondering kind of what new information there was to share. But now, hopefully we have it up, while I'm describing it. But it's very Tron Legacy like. But for anyone who hasn't heard of it yet, so Peloton Lanebreak, it's a time scored based game where you're shown a tire on a never ending track in space, kind of like Mario Kart, if you visualize that, where you move the tire forward by pedaling and you earn points for completing various challenges on these different tracks that you're rolling on. It's just for the Bike and Bike Plus. Right now there's beta testing going on. They've said it'll be released sometimes next year. No more specific information other than that. But basically, once it's on your bike, you would access it just by tabbing the More tab at the bottom of your bike's tablet home screen. And then you'll see lane break as an option next to the Just Ride and Scenic Ride options. But the controls of it are pretty simple. Everything's controlled with your cadence and resistance. So there's 6 different lanes on the track, and each lane is tied to a specific resistance range that you have to stay within, or increase or decrease. There's 4 different modes or difficulty levels where you can pick to change the challenge of the game. And then the leftmost lane is the easiest and the rightmost is the hardest. But it's kind of cool. It's the fact that you're not trying to achieve a certain output. You're trying to earn points by staying within these different ranges. So I kind of equate it a little bit to Power Zone, where it's not all about output. It's staying within. It's kind of staying within certain zones and certain ranges. Based on your FTP, your functional threshold power. But it makes me even more sad that I didn't get a beta test for it, because now I really want to check it out after seeing this footage that Chris Lewis posted on YouTube. It looks really fun.
I should have passed mine on to you, because I did.
I know.
And I gave it up because I was like...
Someone just messaged me on Instagram the other day. They're a beta tester, and they were saying how much fun it is, and that there's like an overall sort of high score leaderboard. So I love that competitive aspect of it, because it kind of feels like, an old school arcade game where at the end, you can put your initials, next to whatever overall ranking you have for the game. So, and there's different music. I was just, reading Chris Lewis's summary on Pelo Buddy, and there's a lot of, it's very music driven as well. So you can make a, first choice that you make is you select a playlist for the game. And so right now there's 9 different music playlists available. They're listed. We probably have them listed up on the screen. If not, it's on pelobuddy.com. And there's a few different artists for each one. So right now there's games that last anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes, depending on the difficulty level that you choose. But even DJ John Michael right now, he has one of his own curated playlists for the game, which is kind of cool. So
very cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's starting to sound super fun now that we actually saw some real footage of it.
Yeah, and I think also, John, it breaks up the monotony of just doing a ride with an instructor. It gives you something different to do, and I like that. Yeah. Do we have a date? Do we know when it's supposed to be released, or we don't know that yet, right?
No, just sometime 2022 right now.
Okay.
And it'll also be interesting to see. I think when you do a scenic ride, doesn't that count towards your ride count?
Absolutely.
Or so I wonder if doing this, I wonder if it'll add to your cycling ride count or not. So
I wouldn't see why not. I mean, even if you do a just ride, it counts. If you get
no matter,
on,
regardless of the time,
Correct. So if you do like a 10-minute just ride, that counts as a ride. So I'm sure this will count. That's too funny. You hit your milestone.
I'm actually excited
you hit your
about
milestone on a lane break game. 1,000 rides.
No shout out.
No shout out. That's for sure. That's too funny. Well, yeah, that's exciting. I mean, that's definitely something fun to look forward to. Yeah. All right.
One other quick tidbit. We did have a temporary outage. Apparently on Wednesday, the 17th, there was an outage that Chris Lewis spotted on Peloton's, website, technical side of their website. But it affected bike, tread, app members, and the ability to log in, live classes, accessing on demand, and the website in general. But it seems to have been resolved pretty quickly, because I actually didn't hear any word of it from anywhere on social media. So they must have squashed that super quick.
Me neither. Could you imagine, as you were talking about that, you were sharing that, I was just thinking to myself, there were all these cyber things that have been going on over the last couple years. Could you imagine if they took over Peloton and we weren't able to get on until Peloton paid their ransom?
If hackers hijack
the hackers figure out to take over Peloton.
Of all like the awful things that I could think of happened to me, that would just be like the worst nightmare.
It would be the worst nightmare ever. Maybe they know now. Maybe they know now with the stock price dwindling that they've got no money, and that John Foley went from being a billionaire to a millionaire. They're not ever going to bother because there's just not enough money for them to get out of
I can remember.
that.
The last major outage, I think it was on a Saturday, and it occurred, I think it was this summer. Maybe the control room will chime in and refresh my memory. But it was a Saturday. I had already gotten my ride in, but people were losing their freaking mind over it, not being able to log in.
It was September 20th.
September 20th, yeah. But I mean, just that type of outage, just people were melting over.
Yeah, well, I think I must have been melting. I must have been melting because September 21st is my birthday, and I would have been devastated if I wasn't going to get my birthday ride in.
I mean, it's bad. It's frustrating enough. It's frustrating enough when you're in a live ride and you get that white circle of death spinning. That's the equivalent to me of being in gridiron traffic. Where you just pound your fist. But anyway. All is good in Peloton world right now.
From that perspective. From other perspectives, no. And the next story, unfortunately, we have learned, that through Business Insider, Peloton had held an all hands on deck meeting back on Wednesday, November the 10th. And the meeting had included, CEO John Foley and Chief Financial Officer Jill Woodworth. And from what we know, John, the stock dip, the company's plan to right the ship, and its recent hiring freeze were all addressed. So they're definitely talking to their staff and talking to all their employees, and probably reassuring them. I'm sure people are definitely concerned, and once you're in the Peloton bubble, it's hard to come out. So apparently, though, according to Business Insider, they obtained actually a recording of the meeting, and they also spoke with a current Peloton employee who described a gloomy atmosphere at the company in light of the recent developments. So this is actually the second all hands on deck meeting in only 1 week. Just last Friday, Peloton had announced that hiring freeze. We mentioned it last week on the show. Then that came after their Q1 2022 earnings call, which did cause the stock price to drop. Gosh, it was 30% back then. It just keeps going down. But it was 30% overnight that it had happened. John Foley had told employees at Peloton's, that it was due, his feelings was that it was due to the rush, to meet pandemic demand, which has obviously slowed down dramatically in recent months. And as we're all quite aware, throughout the pandemic, Peloton did struggle to kind of fight the long delivery wait times and their, efforts to meet the pandemic surge. They never anticipated this was going to happen. I mean, they went public back in September before the pandemic hit, but they had no clue that this was going to happen. And then you had supply chain demands, you had, the stuff wasn't coming in from different countries. It led them definitely to be a little, undisciplined. Foley had stated that Peloton is taking a back to basics approach in an effort to build a more sustainable and predictable business model. So Woodworth had shared with employees that the central focus moving forward is subscriber growth. At the meeting, she explained that they will have to make some adjustments to their cost structure in the near term, but they're going to do it in a way where they're not eroding the member experience. They want to keep us happy, and look, that's what ultimately is what's going to continue their growth. Is if people are, keeping their subscriptions up and buying new hardware and everything else that they're coming out with. So they're definitely focusing, on that. They also discussed the recent hiring freeze, describing it as a decision to reinvest in their current employees, which now consists of almost 8,900 staff worldwide. So that's pretty impressive. As we know, John, you just spoke about Lanebreak. There are all these things coming out. There's an exciting 2022 that we have to look forward to. There's, the new strength product, which, is being tested, and we hope to see what that brings out. The, called the Peloton Guide, the new heart rate band. But Foley maintains his confidence that Peloton will overcome these recent setbacks. And he said to employees, and I quote, "I'm here to tell you we're going to win, but what we have to do is get tighter and leaner and better. But we're going to have fun with it. We're on the boat. It's a fun boat, or maybe the love boat." But we know that he's all about making everybody happy. And I think this was definitely probably a little bit of a shock to all of them. They were riding so high for so long, and it makes sense. It does make sense. There were just so many curveballs that they had hit them, certainly within this last year, never mind 2020. Look, you and I are diehards, as are, all those folks that listen and watch the show. We believe in the product, we believe in what they have to offer, and we just got to stick it out, and I think it'll all come right, and hopefully they'll continue to provide us what we're looking for, and that's the most important thing. So
stay the course, as Alex Toussaint would say, trust the process. Right. That's
it. Exactly. And trust we have done. So I think we just need to continue doing that.
Hopefully, with the holidays and all the sales, hopefully, things turn around. I know, morale's got to be quite a shift in morale going into, Christmas, but hopefully, with spending and the economy, hopefully, Peloton benefits from that too, for their bottom line.
Yeah, it was interesting that I don't know if you saw this, but there was on social media this past week, they actually had on the Peloton IG page, they had asked a question about, what do you love about Peloton? What do you love about Peloton? And I guess they're trying to kind of get momentum going and see what people say. And I answered and I said, the fact that I can dress up in my Peloton apparel like a queen and nobody's judging me because I'm in the privacy of my own home. But those are the kind of things, right? I mean, what do we love about Peloton is the convenience. And while there's some folks that are definitely going back to gyms, nothing can beat being able to ride at whatever time of the day you want to, with whomever you want to, and be part of this amazing community. So
I love wearing all my apparel proudly out in public. Like I love being a walking billboard, if you want to say that.
Exactly.
So I wear it loud and proud.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, yeah.
So in other financial news, Peloton has just recently announced they're going to sell $1 billion worth of stock. So last Tuesday morning, the 16th, the company announced a plan to sell $1 billion of their Class A common stock, which is obviously a sign that they need to raise money in light of the last few hard weeks. CNBC also reported on the news, providing some context because to understand stock offerings, can kind of get confusing. But stock offerings, this is from CNBC, they're often pursued by public companies to take advantage of a growing share price. But Peloton's market value obviously has plummeted, especially the last few weeks. Its shares were down around 3% in extended trading last Tuesday after this news, having fallen nearly 70% year to date. But shares had closed down about 3.5% after touching a fresh 52-week low of $46.70 a share earlier in the day. The stock offering, though, that was announced, it does run contrary to what Chief Financial Officer Jill Woodworth had previously told investors just a few short weeks ago in their Q1 2022 earnings call. She answered a question about the potential of raising money, to which he responded, "I think just cutting to the chase, we don't see the need for any additional capital raise based on our current outlook." So, it's a little, the timing there is a little odd because obviously even a few weeks ago, the writing was obviously on the wall for Peloton, but maybe they're just holding their cards pretty close to the chest. But the company's been dumping, money into marketing. I constantly see ads now on my TikTok feed, and Peloton is the one else from a personal standpoint. I cannot get enough of seeing Peloton commercials. Like whenever I'm fast forwarding, like I always have to rewind it and, fully take it in. I just love seeing, the company out there in mass media. But we've got their holiday campaign. I think the second ad just recently rolled out with the actor Brett Gelman promoting the tread. So now we have a Scrooge themed Christmas Carol tread holiday commercial that's been on TV and social media everywhere. And now we got the Black Friday discounts to boot. So
yeah, I guess we'll wait and see. Definitely chatter out there, but So switching gears just a little bit, John, something we can look forward to is that they have announced their annual tradition of hosting a special Thanksgiving Day set of classes for members. So there is always something for us to look forward to, and we can just put the financial stuff aside because what are we here for is to be able to enjoy the platform and enjoy the workouts. So I don't know if you remember, John, but back in the day, it had started out as just one class, right? And now it spans the entire week, branding it Gratitude Week. There is a full lineup of classes that you will be able to find at pelobuddy.com. But returning are the traditional Thanksgiving morning classes with both Alex Toussaint and Robin Arzon. So if you're on the East Coast and want to get done and dusted nice and early, you can hit Alex's class. Or if you're looking for a little bit of a lie-in, Robin's is a little later in the morning, which will work well for the West Coast folk just getting up. Yeah. So you can get to do both, certainly for the American folks here. Also back this year are two different turkey trot classes. There is one combo class that's being taught by Matt Wilpers, Marcel Dinkins, and Kristen Ferguson. And then, of course, Matty Majacomo will also have his 45-minute turkey trot. So again, folks, head over to pelobuddy.com to get the full lineup of all the classes, as there's definitely something for everybody. There were just too many to mention, certainly in this particular recording. But yeah, you can definitely start right through the week and get active and busy. And, keep yourself moving. So I did see something, John, I don't know if you saw it. There was definitely somebody that had put out there, I think you need to change the name and it shouldn't be a turkey burn. And it's like, I don't know, those kind of things just frustrate me. I know. I mean, yeah, it's a turkey burn.
For the reasoning of that it's
fat shaming.
disrespectful to Turk. Oh, come on.
No, you don't want to fat shame, and we should be allowed to eat whatever we want on Thanksgiving and not have to burn it off. It's just a term. I don't know. That's just me personally, folks. I don't know what you guys think.
I think that's a big stretch.
Right?
If someone wants to call it fat shaming, I mean, everyone has their opinion, but I think that's a big stretch.
I agree. So anyway, I just thought I'd put it out there because I saw some of those back and forth that I was like, come on.
So between the rides, just talking the rides between Alex and Robin, which one are you going to do, or are you going to do both?
I'll do both. Now, I'm not a huge Alex. I'm not a huge Alex fan. You know that. I mean, I just don't. I find it really hard. I don't get. But interestingly enough, for the last 3 years, I have done Alex's. Turkey ride. So I can't break tradition. And I like it that it's early. I don't host Thanksgiving, thank goodness. So I don't have to worry about being in the kitchen. Although last year I did. Last year was the first year that because of the pandemic, we were home. So I did actually host last year, but I had my amazing son who cooked my Thanksgiving dinner for us, which was fantastic. So I'm trying to think last year, I may have only done Alex's. Now I'm trying to go back and think. I'll have to check.
I only did Alex's.
I like doing
myself.
Both. Did you? Yeah,
okay.
No, I like Robin's. I like Robin's ride. For somehow it just equates with Thanksgiving for me, those two, because I don't ride with them. I don't ride with them at all. So it is nice to be able to do that. So yep, I will be there. Will I see you on the leaderboard? I'll see you for Alex. Will I see you for Robin's?
I'll definitely be there for Alex. So I'm going to do ride Alex. Jackie is going to do Robin's because Robin is her favorite.
Her girl.
I would probably do Robin's too if Jackie didn't give me so much shit. She would give me she'll give me too much of a hard. I could push, and then she'll just give me an attitude the rest of the day. So it's not worth it. And my mom's gonna be there too, and she'll definitely be up and out of she likes to sleep in, so she'll still be in bed while I'm riding with Alex, but she'll be up and about by 11 a.m. Eastern. So probably just do Alex's. But I love he's hard, but I love there's always heavy hitters on the leaderboard, so that pushes me to work harder, and he pushes me to work harder. So I always PR every time with Alex. But
do you really?
I love that all of my recent PRs have been with him.
That's
just
incredible.
Because right out of the gate, he has you going so hard, just from the get go. So I'll ride with him, and it's just I'll get it out of the way in the morning.
Yeah,
and then I can
we'll see.
eat and relax the rest of the day. Yeah,
exactly.
Well, in other other ride related news, class related news rather. We had a Foo Fighters artist series just this past week go down. We had some live classes, a live ride with Emma. She taught the Wednesday night, ride artist series. She had that time slot on Wednesday night. There was a run with Matt Wilpers, strength class with Selena, a yoga with Dennis, and some on-demand classes that dropped with a warm-up ride with Christine and a warm-up run with Marcel Dinkins. And the Foo Fighters, obviously, who doesn't know the Foo Fighters, but they were actually just inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this past year on their first year eligibility. And I didn't have a chance to do any of them yet. If they had done, if they debuted these in a weekday morning time slot, I would definitely, but 7:30 at night, I'm just totally not in workout mode. But I heard a lot of great things about Emma's ride in particular.
I have too. I heard tons about Emma's. I'm not, again, you know me, I'm not a huge rock fan. So I'm not a huge Foo Fighters fan either. But I did do Christine's warm-up or cool-down. Maybe it was a warm-up. I can't remember now. But anyway, I did do it. I think, no, it was a cool-down. And I did do it, and just because it was there and I wanted to be able to do it before we recorded so I could say that I did it. So I did.
Don't be a poser.
Right, exactly. So I did do that. But again, I'm not a huge Foo Fighters fan, so it didn't, I could take it or leave it. But maybe I will jump on Emma's.
I don't always listen. I mean, I enjoy their music. I don't usually like play them all the time, but I do love them on Howard Stern show. Like Dave Grohl is especially entertaining. He's just, he's so full of personality, and he also tells some amazing stories, especially on past interviews, just recently with Howard. So it's always fun, especially when he talks about, their Nirvana days and random happenings with Kurt Cobain and the rest of when he was in Nirvana in that band, playing drums. So nice. They're always entertaining on every level.
Yeah.
And other music news now, shifting a little bit. So for any Taylor Swift fans, Swifties, it's looking like Peloton might have some rights finally to be able to play some of Taylor Swift's music in their proprietary music system, Crescendo. So just this past Sunday, the 14th, on Allie's Sunday was with Love Ride, she played Taylor's song 22, which is her off her album called Red. Mm-hmm. And it was labeled in parentheses Taylor's version. So Taylor Swift, she's been re-recording a lot of her catalog to regain control of the music rights, because a lot of her albums she doesn't own, the publishing or the rights to. So it'll be interesting to see. We could potentially, and I know Chris Lewis's post about this generated a lot of buzz. So people have been clamoring for it for a long time. It's one of those, highly requested artist series rides that, are we ever going to get it? Just like Michael Jackson, we have no rights to Michael Jackson. Can't play any Michael Jackson music, but I know this is definitely, if not the most requested artist to be played or artist series. She's high up there.
Yeah. So I think we're going to see something before the end of the year. That's my 2 cents. I think maybe that's going to be our Christmas present from Peloton is a Taylor Swift
that would be nice.
Artist series, which could be fun. Yeah.
Well, the other funny comment that a lot of members commonly make, especially on the Pelo Buddy social media post, is Cody Rigsby definitely won't be teaching that ride or boot camp because he throws a lot of shade at Taylor Swift in the past on his rides, and it was really just because of an old boyfriend that was a huge Taylor Swift fan, and it totally turned him off to her music. But he does not, when he mentions his dislike for her and as he has done in the past in his rides, he does not hold back. And I've posted a couple funny clips,
memes
on one ride. Yeah, he was talking about some artists. He goes, yeah, when with music, you obviously have to be able to sing to win a Grammy. And then he goes, and then I see that Taylor Swift is one too. And then he quickly goes, I know I'm going to get some hate for that. I know I'm going to get some hate. Not a fan. You know that.
But only Cody Rigsby can say it, right? And it can get passed.
Only Cody can get away with that.
Right,
yeah, Cody
can get away with it. Who else?
Cody gets a pass on a lot.
Is it Justin Timberlake? Justin Timberlake also he hates. Is it?
He's
Bieber
not
or
a fan. So he plays Justin Timberlake, but he's not a fan of Justin Timberlake in terms of the Britney-Justin relationship.
Right.
He's mentioned how he blames Justin for some of the problems that happened with their split, and some of the things that JT said about Britney post breakup.
Too funny. All right, we've gone off on a tangent.
He's got a lot of opinions. Yes,
but he definitely has his opinions. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, talking about these artist series, the German community, John, didn't are certainly not being left out either. Because they actually have an artist series with Peter Maffay, and that also dropped this past week. There is a 30-minute run with Tobias Hines, which dropped this past Wednesday, the 17th, and also a 30-minute ride with Eric Yeager that dropped just this past Friday, the 19th. So that was nice for the German community. I don't know who he is. He's obviously a German artist. I wasn't familiar, but obviously a popular German.
I haven't heard of him.
Yeah, obviously a popular German artist. And then we also saw the drop of new meditation coaches, which really piqued my interest because, as you all know, if you watch the show regularly,
all about that meditation.
Very into that meditation. So so we saw, not only did we see the drop of these new coaches, but we also saw them in different languages. So now the German community and the Spanish community can get to do meditations in their mother tongue, which I think is really, really cool. So it was Kira Michelle, Mariana Fernandez, and Nico Serrani who were added to the meditation lineup, and they dropped 23 new classes on demand. So they must have been recording, back there for some
just
time.
Churning them out.
Right. Yeah. And they were just dumped into the, into the platform. So, I'll talk about it in my picks of the week, but I definitely have done some. Sometimes I get kind of jealous that I don't understand German, and my Spanish is very poor, because I always, people talk about how fantastic, the instructors are, and it's frustrating when you can't understand the language, but was really happy for that. Was really, really happy for that. So that's awesome.
So we have an update. So Peloton has added the all class type button for their upcoming schedule and on-demand library if you view it on a web browser. So I'm actually really excited about this. I've already actually used it on my phone's browser, just on Chrome or Safari on my iPhone. But currently this feature it was added on the Android Peloton app way back in February, but since then has not been updated for iOS app users. But basically it's just, if you're looking at the schedule on the app, on the web browser, you sort by different modalities, as you like to say, Amanda: cycling, boot camp, strength. All the way to the left, though, is now an all button. So you can look at the schedule and see every upcoming class, regardless of if it's on the bike or tread or on the mat or meditation, which is really helpful for me because I can easily miss so many different classes slip through the cracks that I don't forget to click on the different categories, especially if an instructor is teaching 2 back-to-back classes in different modalities. You can easily miss it. So I've already begun using that on my phone, just logging into members.onepeloton.com, and then it just, you do it on the browser, and then you can just pull up, it'll list on your schedule on the app on iOS. But it's kind of odd to me that they would add this to Android. I mean, so long ago in February, and they wouldn't make this update. Yeah. And I feel like, Apple iOS users, I feel like that's the more dominant. We always seem to be favored in terms of getting the updates more quickly versus Android. But this is this is one update that we really need. That's really useful if you haven't utilized it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, because often I would miss, there'd be sometimes a ride, and then the same instructor would do like a 10-minute light arms, light arms weight, and I'd miss them, and people would say, "Oh, but why didn't you jump on that?" I'm like, "Oh, because I didn't realize that was being." I never kind of look up, live strength classes, very rarely. So that would absolutely, and now that, so there's kind of a catch-22 to that also, though, because now that you can see that, and I'm running more, I'm getting frustrated because my favorites are at the same time. So I'm having to pick between who I need to, if I'm going to be trading or I'm going to be cycling, and I have to kind of make that choice. So that I've actually found to be a little frustrating in the last week or so as I've started running more. But anyway, I end up just doing it on demand after the fact. But yeah, it is really cool to be able to see that. So hopefully we'll get it on our app, soon.
Really soon, yeah.
Yeah.
A recent tip that Chris Lewis received: Peloton's getting to release a new feature for Android app users. So any Android app users, you will soon have the ability to preload on-demand classes on the app. This feature, we got, the iOS app users, we got this feature almost 2 years ago, more than 2 years ago in 2019. But it's expected to have the same restrictions that the iOS app, currently has. You still have to have an active internet connection to actually start the class, but you can download it into your phone. So if you're connected to even just a lousy Wi-Fi connection or internet connection, that should just be all you need to actually play the class. But it'll be nice. I've used it a couple times on vacation, especially in Cabo and some random places where the Wi-Fi is really lousy in the hotel gym. So I'm sure this is a much wanted feature for Android users, because it's been nice having this. We've been lucky to have this for over 2 years now.
Yeah, I've used it a ton. I've definitely used it. I mean, certainly on walks and stuff like that.
Yeah, then you don't have to You don't have to worry about it buffering, and
exactly.
It's nice.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's definitely a welcomed addition for the Android users. But it is actually kind of weird, again, as you said, that some things are being shared with Android users versus iOS and vice versa. So
there's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just, I guess they probably just prioritize from an IT standpoint what projects are most needed, or what they can, what fund, they probably have a certain dollar amount of funds each year towards each app, and they have to obviously prioritize whatever updates they have upcoming. And I guess this one has fallen by the wayside for Android users for a couple of years now. But don't fret, it's coming. It's coming for all you Android. And Chris Lewis, I think, is an Android user, so he's obviously excited.
I'm sure. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And then shifting gears, folks, in legal news, back on November 9th, Peloton was granted a new patent which covers some of the functionality and core software interface of the Peloton experience. And they immediately filed a new lawsuit in court against both Echelon and iFit, who, as we know, are the makers of Nordic Track, alleging that their products infringe on Peloton's new patent. The basis of the patent is the way Peloton allows you to compete against other members in both live and on-demand classes. So it's a pretty significant patent that they have, because that is what makes it so fun, right? Is being able to see your leaderboard.
It's basically
competing.
A leaderboard patent. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
The functionality of the leaderboard. Gotcha.
Right. So, I mean, it's an important one. And if they end up winning, it's going to make a big difference to those Echelon and, Nordic Track users, I think, because I find that to be probably one of the most fun parts about doing, these workouts, is having that, the accessibility of the leaderboard and competing against your friends, or just seeing your friends on there. So an article also appeared in Engadget.com talking about the lawsuit and the alleged patent infringement, claiming that at least 55 iFit models and more than a dozen Echelon products are in violation. So it's a pretty big deal for them, and let's just cross our fingers that that Peloton come out on the winning side for that. So that was quite interesting.
I know, Echelon and iFit are shaking in their boots. Look out. Well, in other news,
the big guns are coming into town.
Gonna sue you. In other news, some lucky members have been receiving some homecoming 2021 gifts in the mail this past week. Different members have received homecoming water bottles, towels, and hats with a card titled "Revisiting Homecoming." I actually received a little gift myself. I got 2 of the homecoming water bottles.
Yeah, like WTF? Like, I didn't get anything. I mean, do they not know who I am?
They sent me this little card. It said "Revisiting Homecoming." I'll just read a quick little blurb from it, and it says, "As we reflect on Homecoming 2021, we are so grateful for the members that showed up and celebrated with us. Whether you took our classes, attended member meets, watched our virtual panels, or did all of the above, we are so grateful for your participation." So it's just like a nice random gesture. I'm sure, a lot of people are like, oh, we couldn't get rid of all our
That's
extra
okay.
swag, so this is our liquid. Hey, I'll take it. I love free swag.
Absolutely. Who cares? Who cares? Yeah, quite
And
a few Pelo Buddy viewers actually had reached out. I know that E.G. Harrison and Nada Kroll, a couple had reached out to say that they had gotten, and I like that. I love that people think to tell us that they've gotten this in case we didn't know. So that was really sweet. Thank you so much for doing that.
It was funny. I know it must have been probably over a month ago. I received an email, and several other members received emails that they sent to me. They sent me screenshots, direct message, wondering what this was. And it was like a third-party shipping company with something like Peloton-related gift from this company called Bamco. I guess they're the fulfillment company, processing company that sent these out. And then I got some other random email that was less cryptic directly from Peloton, with a package arriving. So, yeah, that was the surprise. But it was so weird, because someone was like, "Do you know what this is about?" Like, I didn't order this, and yeah, there it is.
Yeah, a girlfriend of mine in Canada actually got something in the same way. And she was like, "Did you send me something?" I'm like, "No, I didn't." But Peloton may have.
Yes, it's just a nice gesture, because I got the. You got something for homecoming. You got like the tea and the rest and relaxation kit. I think it was called.
I actually ended up
something like that.
No, I ended up actually switching with a fellow member. So I got what I got, I didn't want, and what she got, she didn't want. So we ended up, all about community. We swapped,
That's awesome.
and I loved it because I love the tea. But I think everybody got something, right? Did everybody end up getting at homecoming time? I think so.
No.
Oh, I guess no. Control room's telling us no.
There were plenty of OG members that have been with Peloton since 2014, 2015 that didn't receive anything.
Really?
So I don't know what random algorithm it was based on. Yeah, I mean, I got I don't know what it was called, the celebration kit with the banner of flags that you could hang. So I hung them up, and I did a little fun reel that they were promoting at the time that all the instructors were putting out and creating around homecoming weekend. But no, it was not everyone. So it was so random though. I don't know what generates it, but yeah, I guess I'm still getting lucky.
I have not received anything, but and let me tell you, if my bank statement didn't have enough Peloton apparel charges already, John, there are certainly going to be many more. So they better make sure. Yeah. You
can have one of my water bottles, because I probably won't even use it. It's probably just going to sit in the little cabinet under the island in our kitchen, where every other there's a graveyard of different thermoses and water bottles and
I'm going to send you a picture after we finish recording. I'm going to send you a picture of mine after we finish recording, because I have exactly the same. But funny enough, John,
it's out of control.
I do use those bottles. I have 3 of them. I left 2 in Miami, and I have 1 down here. But those are actually because they fit so nicely in the cup holders, and they keep cold. So I actually do like those. I'll send you my address.
Yeah, because they're the slimmer.
I'm looking forward to seeing one.
I'll send you one.
Forward to seeing one.
You gotta pay. I'm not paying ship. You gotta pay shipping. I'm not paying.
I'll pay shipping. I'll Venmo you shipping, John.
I'm kidding. Anyway,
that's very, very cool. But yes, as I was saying, as if my bank balance doesn't have enough charges on Peloton apparel, which I kind of split between different credit cards, so that a certain Mr. Siegel doesn't say, "What the hell are you doing? Do you not have enough in your closet already?" Interesting, as we mentioned last week in the show, while neither of us were too enamored with the Ivy Park collection, I do have to say though, John, the new holiday apparel, I thought there was tons to pick from. There are just so many options out there now, and certainly tons of inventory that one doesn't have to, and we've spoken about this before, have to rush to get what they want. But in this new holiday collection, they actually gave them each names. So there was names for the different things. There's the new memories for the New Year collection. There's the In Love with Luxe, the Feels Like Home. and the When Performance Is Your Passion collections. So certainly tons of picks for folks to put on their holiday lists. And yeah, I'm waiting for a couple more packages. And when I got back from London, I had packages waiting for me. And I just, I don't know. It's like a drug. It's like I feel, look, and I said before, this is the worst obsession that I have, so be it. But I actually got the PJs, the rabbit. God, there's a name for them, something rabbit. But the PJs, they are amazing. They were so goddamn expensive that I just buy. I don't even look. I just go and I'm like, oh, I like this cart. I like this cart.
And you're just custing up at this point and paying right out of pocket, right? You're not burning any codes.
I had my last code that I just used, but I did get the PJs, which I loved. I got the holiday beanie. There's a really cool black pom-pom beanie that came out. And then now from the latest stuff, oh my God, I have a package that'll probably arrive this weekend, which was, this is just tons of stuff. So
I burned, and I still have tons of codes, which is a great problem to have. But I burned on this most recent drop just this past week. I burned 3 codes. I was just looking up to see the names of them in my shop app. I got the Dream Blend full zip hoodie because I love the full zip hoodies. Yeah, I do too. I'm a big fan. I don't like the pullover. Yeah, we've talked about that. But I got the hoodie. I got 2 I got 4 shirts, but I split them up with the codes, the Striving short sleeve and the Tech short sleeve and a couple other random ones I don't know the names of. But I didn't get any like holiday theme type. The
only holiday theme thing I got was Emma actually wore it. I think Emma may have even worn it. Did she wear it on the Foo Fighters ride?
The sparkling top.
Was it the Foo Fighters ride that she wore it? But I did get that because I love the sparkling.
I know she wore it on her Groove and Pop ride from
maybe it was
Tuesday.
that. I know I saw her on there and she was talking about it. I think you maybe even have put it up on a TikTok.
I put it in, someone tagged me in a story and I reshared it. Yeah.
I liked it. Yeah, I saw that. I mean, I got the white, which I'm curious to see how see-through they're going to be. We'll have to see, but again, I'm working out in the privacy of my own home, so it doesn't matter. But I did get the white set that Tunde had on. It looked really cool. I got the tie-dye sweatshirt. Quite a few things. Yeah, all right, John. So I guess next up is Instructor in the News. And yep, John, we will lead with our very own Cody Rigsby and the controversy in the Dancing with the Stars community of him heading to the finals.
Everyone's hating on.
We saw a major chatter, right? This past week on Twitter.
Everyone's hating on Reddit on the biker gang. That's boosting Cody's votes.
They don't know who they're messing with. Go take a back seat, folks. When we go all out. So, but
ride or die, baby.
No question on Twitter, the DWTS community were quite irritated with the fact that Cody and Cheryl will be in the finals. And you know what? I think us as the Peloton community, we find it quite amusing. I found it amusing. I definitely had a chuckle because, truth be told, I mean, they're great, but they're not the best. But we don't care. We want to see our boo on Monday night in the finals.
Before you go into the recap of this past week, someone in the Boo Crew on Facebook summarized it really perfectly. It's a pop Dancing with the Stars. It's a popularity contest. The dancing is secondary. So if you've got the backing and the support of whatever community behind you, I mean, that can obviously propel you all the way.
Which clearly it's done with Cody.
Which we have done with Cody, despite, the low scores, especially early on and the issues they had not being able to dance in the ballroom. Yet we have still shown up everyone has still shown up for him week after week, and he's never faced elimination. They've never been in that bottom 2 at all, which is amazing. So, to the Peloton community for, getting it done week after week.
Yeah, and you know what? It just reiterates to me the strength the strength that we have, and I love it. I think it is amazing. And you know, I mean, it's no secret that I'm not a huge Cody fan on the bike. I just never have been. But let me tell you, I am behind him. I'm voting for him. I'm pulling Mark's phone. I think I mentioned one show. I had my father, my 86-year-old father, go, "Who's Cody?" And and I am loving reading some of the stuff on a Tuesday morning, on the Boo Crew page, as far as, I told my mom to text Cody to 21523, and there's like 21523, 21523, 21523. It's like, God damn it, how do I tell her that she has to put Cody there? I mean, there was so much of this. There was a teacher that said, I think like an AP psych teacher said, you're not going to pass if I don't get a text message to show that you have voted for Cody 10 times for her entire class. And the kids got extra credit points. We're going to, I mean, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. And I love it. And I think it's fantastic. And it just shows, the strength of our community. I mean, look, Monday night was fun. I think Cody did great. But no, come on, John, you got to admit, he's not the best dancer out there. I mean, and I think, and truthfully, I mean, when we saw his laugh at the end of, when they were at the elimination stage, and you saw him cackle and fall to the floor, Cheryl fell to the floor. They were like blown away because they knew
when they were told they were safe.
Yeah. Because it was I think it's a double-edged sword for Cody, because I think we've both said that he's done, and I think he would be only too pleased to be done and come back to New York.
Oh,
and,
yeah, he's exhausted.
He's exhausted. He said it's been the hardest thing he's ever had to do. So I think, in a way, but sorry, Cody, you have, the millions.
You made your bed,
Peloton.
boo.
Right, exactly, right. You chose to be on Dancing with the Stars. You should have known better. The Boo Crew were not going to let you pass this by. So I am very anxious to see what happens on Monday night, because I do think that the judges make the final decision. Is that? I haven't watched the show in so many years.
We can only.
I don't know.
Yeah, we can only vote. I mean, we can only propel him so far. So then, ultimately the Mirror Ball Trophy comes down, I think, to the judges. But you and I are both, and I've said this many times, JoJo's going to win it. So
yeah. I mean, she's fantastic. So we
still
get to vote this week, right? Okay, we do get to vote, but I think that final decision comes down to the judges.
I think the fact the weighing in, the deciding factor is for the very final round is weighed more heavily on the judges, I guess you could say.
Right. Exactly.
But great for, I mean, and I know they get financially, they earn more money as they continue to stay on week after week. So he's obviously benefited, good. I didn't know
in
so many ways, and obviously, and also in getting more exposure, to the mass audiences now as the fitness guru. They like to. Cool. They like to describe
Peloton doesn't. Other than them putting the bikes on the first show, right? Were there bikes I think there were bikes in his first dance on the first show. They had 2 bikes
in the
on
very
the stage.
first week. They had at least 3 bike pluses. They had bike pluses on the stage. Yeah. But I don't think I don't think they had bikes on any of the subsequent performances that they did.
Right.
Yeah.
But I will say I thought that this week was fun, and he's definitely improved, and there's no question that
and they danced twice. They danced first. They were up first at the very top of the show, and then they had a second dance later on.
Correct.
In
so
the 2-hour
right,
episode.
I get they had their they gave it a name of it. Gosh, John, and now it's escaping
Paso
me
Doble?
what they called it. No. They called it like their redemption. Thank you,
redemption.
Control Room. It was their redemption dance that they did first, and then they did their second dance. So and as you said, the exposure is amazing. And for those of you that didn't know, I'm sure everybody does, but Cody actually also appeared on the Kelly Clarkson show this past week. And that was, I don't know if you've had a chance to take a look at it, but, I always
watched
find
it.
his story so, moving. And it's amazing to see how, he spoke about his childhood and growing up homeless, at times, with a single mother. As we know, his father had passed away when he was just 4 months old. And he was very vulnerable. And he shared how there were times that he, would stay over at friends' homes because his mom had been evicted, or she was working 3 jobs and there was nowhere for him to go. And I mean, it's pretty awesome to see him having grown, over that period and to where he is today. This, unbelievably, well-adjusted, amazing human, despite the hardships that he went through. And I like the way that Kelly addressed that with him. I think she did an amazing job in the interview that she gave with him. What I did think was kind of cute, John, was how he shared how meeting his idol Mel C, Sporty Spice, was just so amazing and surreal. And that's got to be really cool. Think about it. I mean, you're a celebrity in your own right, but, every celebrity has their idol and has who they think, is a celebrity. And he said that he how he just loved sharing the Dancing with the Stars experience with her, and loved how she admitted that she got nervous each week as well. Even though she's performed in front of gazillion people over the years, it's still a pretty,
pressure,
daunting, of course. It's very daunting, and it's a smaller environment, and you've got these people judging you. And so he they obviously definitely developed a friendship in the weeks that they were together. So that was really, really nice in how he shared that. And then, of course, the funniest was when Kelly had shared the video clip of his starring in Greece from high school. I mean, to say that he was embarrassed might be an understatement, because he was definitely, dying on the sofa. But he looked just as gorgeous then as he does today, and it was fun to see. So I'm so
and
proud
for
of
anyone
him.
wondering, the clip is on. If you just search Cody Rigsby Grease, the clip is on YouTube. I thought it was interesting, on Kelly Clarkson, they blurred out the faces of his high school
I did see
classmates in the video, because
Yeah.
obviously it's a, I don't know, privacy or permission.
Privacy issue.
But I
Yeah.
believe I'm pretty sure he played Kaniki in Grease. He wasn't the John, because he's said time and time again he doesn't have a singing voice, so
Right.
he can't really carry a tune. But yeah, he was Kaniki in Grease in the black leather
That's kind of
jacket.
funny.
Yeah. Well, another instructor, some other news, Robin Arzon, she had a couple different TV interview appearances. So she was on Good Morning America, GMA, last week, talking about self-care and to discuss the debut of her new children's book titled Strong Mama, which right now is available for pre-order on all, internet sites, Amazon. And it's going to be released on January 11th. And it was a short, these TV interviews are always like a quick 3-minute segment. But they packed it in. She talked about running the New York City Marathon. Her daughter, baby Athena, was there waiting to greet her at mile 23. And she also talked about how movement is medicine, and her, talking about her own mother and the example that she set for her to be a mom to her baby Athena. And then she was also on Chicago's Fox 32 TV affiliate, talking about being on a new campaign to empower women with diabetes to live life to the fullest. And she talked about her own experience with being diagnosed with diabetes, the use of an insulin pump, and how it's kind of affected, her over the years since that diagnosis. So that's another, quick, easy interview. If you haven't seen it, just check it out. It's on Pelo Buddy TV, pelobuddy.com, rather, with all our other, segments that we've mentioned here on the show.
Yeah. And in the show notes, it'll be in there as well. So you guys will be able to see it there. Yeah. And then Jess Sims actually made it into Shape magazine this past week. She chatted about how her two gorgeous pooches, Sienna Grace and Shiloh, keep her active in the colder months. So, as we all know, Jess is completely obsessed with her two dogs. And she says a light, whether it be a light sprinkle or even a torrential downpour, it will not get in the way of her making sure that she gets out with her dogs 4 times a day. So she actually she walks them 4 times a day. I guess living in, apartment living in New York City is hard. So you have
stretch your legs.
Exactly, and they
have so much
are
room
rambunctious dogs. And she says that on days that she really doesn't want to do it, it just comes down to discipline and knowing that the benefits of how you feel after will outweigh the feeling of not wanting to do it. It's a really lovely article, so definitely head over to pelobuddy.com to get to read the whole thing. And then lastly, John, with our instructor in the news and our communities, the German community just celebrated 2 years. So this past week was the 2-year anniversary of the inauguration
of Peloton Germany.
The launch of Germany. Exactly. Oh. And our UK bike team all celebrated Peloversaries this past week as well. So both Sam and Hannah celebrated their 2-year Peloversary, and Ben and Leanne celebrated their 3-year Peloversaries. And I know that the different instructors had gotten through their own, fan clubs and stuff, had gotten gifts and stuff sent to them, which I think is always so lovely. And
that's nice.
They had shown that. I mean, Sam had come on social media and thanked his yes yo group. Yes
yo.
Hannah had thanked her push crew. Leanne thanked her yes to you crew, and Ben's army, just for the support and the commitment in kind of backing them and being behind them. So some lovely posts, about their experiences and time with Peloton and how it's changed their lives, which, as we know, it truly has changed their lives. So that was really fun to see. That's
great.
And picks of the week, that is up next, John. So
how many you got here? We got like 9 from you. Keep it pith. Keep it.
Girl.
We're running a little long here, Amanda.
I know.
You're gonna have to keep it pithy.
I'll keep it. Oh, listen to you, shush. I am going to tell you about my picks of the week because you're going to be very impressed with me, because it's not all about Leanne. Although she does make it in there. But I'll tell you, I'm going to start off. John, I don't know if anyone will actually believe this, but I am going to be real, as I had been on my social media this past week.
Okay.
And tell you what not to pick. Okay, so I'm going to start off by telling you what not to pick. And
so this is one for the sadists who love torture.
This is one for the let's not go with this ride. And again, it is a personal opinion of mine, but Leanne did a 30-minute deep house music ride, and I hated it. I absolutely hated it.
So it wasn't a hard ride; it was the music choice.
It was the music. No, yeah. Not from that. So
okay. I thought you were talking about it was going to be a super hard ride.
No, not at all. It was and you know what? We always say these rides are about music, and it's about kind of finding what you like and making sure that that's what you do. So I don't typically pick rock rides because I know that I'm not going to potentially like the music. Although I've gotten much better about that, and I really am enjoying it. So I'm pleased that I did this. But this one, I just couldn't connect with the music. And and as I said, we all know that it's everything to do with the music, whether you're riding or running. Yeah. But what I do have, so that's my not to pick. What I do have to include, though, and I'm sorry, folks, but I do have to include it, is her 30-minute Broadway ride from Monday the 15th. It was sensational. So definitely made up for the awful deep house ride. She
Now,
played tunes. Yes.
Let me interject. Did she play any Phantom of the Opera?
Let me tell you, because I'm going to actually tell you what she played. It was.
I just want to know if there was any Phantom. Can you tell me if there was some Phantom?
There was Phantom.
There was
Phantom. There was
Oh.
Phantom. I'm almost.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. I don't know if I. So Phantom's not one of my. Oh, John. Phantom's not one of my.
See, that's one of my favorite
faves.
musicals.
Okay. Is it really?
And
hold on.
and there have been so many Broadway classes, and no one ever.
Well,
plays
I'm going to tell you about two. Maybe they don't have the rights to Phantom, but I think there was a Phantom in this one. Hold on. We're going to tell you in 3, 2, 1. Can't find it. God damn.
Wait
All
for
right.
it.
Well, come on, people. All right, stop interrupting me. I'm going to tell you about the tunes from some of my favorite Broadway shows that she played,
Okay.
and she had them. The best for me was a track from Moulin Rouge. Have you seen it? Have you seen it on Broadway?
I've not seen the Broadway show. No, just the movie.
It is insane. The Broadway show way surpasses the movie in a million ways. It is one of my favorite new Broadway shows, and she did end up playing. The track she picked was Chandelier. So it's all a what's the phrase I'm looking for? Like a play on words with all the songs that they do, and they change it around, but they use the
lyrics.
They use the lyrics, exactly. They use the music at least. So amazing. And then I Kissed a Girl from Anne Juliet, a show that I had actually seen on the West End in London a couple years ago. So I don't believe it's come to Broadway, but it is a West End show called Anne Juliet. It is a spin on the Romeo and Juliet story. And she played I Kissed a Girl, and she was just fantastic. She had tracks from Rent, Hairspray, Jersey Boys, The Lion King, and Singing in the Rain, which was just amazing. So that's my first pick.
Nice.
But after I picked that one, I then, because I had done my picks of the week a little bit early, I just did Christine de Urkel's 30-minute Broadway ride, and I absolutely had to include that. Leanne's was familiar because it was all kind of newer Broadway shows. Mm-hmm. What Christine did in her ride was she kind of went back to old school Broadway. And I'm a huge Broadway fan. If I can get to any show on Broadway, I will go to it. I love the musicals. She had a ride back from Wednesday the 17th. And honestly, John, she was so unbelievably moved in talking about this as she was riding that it made me just forget what I was doing, and that I was on a bike sweating and dying just because of the way she spoke. So she spoke about her dad, and I'm even going to get emotional kind of talking about it now on the show, but she spoke about her dad. Dad wasn't an actor, wasn't in Broadway. He worked in a shop. But he was obsessed with Broadway, and whatever money he could scrape together, he would always make sure that he took Christine to Broadway shows. And she said, just doing something like this, and this isn't her first Broadway ride. I've done a couple with her, and I don't ride with her often, and then I do something like this, and I'm like, why don't I ride with her more? She is phenomenal. Yep. But this ride was, from Don't Cry For Me, Argentina, that I sang the entire song as I was riding, to If I Were a Rich Man from Fiddler on the Roof. And she spoke about her dad and how it just resonated with her because, they didn't come from anything. And it just really meant something to her listening to the lyrics, to Money from Cabaret and so much more. So definitely do it. Folks, if you're not a Broadway fan, and I'm going to shout her out again, my buddy, my Long Islander, Boss Bitch 122, hates Broadway. And she did Leanne's. I haven't convinced her to do Christine's yet. And she messaged me right after. She goes, oh my God, that was amazing. So take my word for it. Now onto the tread. And I have two picks this week. First pick is a 20-minute dance run with Susie Chan. Wasn't what I expected for 90s music. It was a 90s music 20-minute run. But when she played Sandstorm, that was it for me.
That always...
right? It just... to the point.
You just want to get up on top of the bar and go crazy.
Right. So this was, I mean, this was a run, and it pushed me to a personal best. So I was so excited. I ran with tons of community. Tony was on there. My friend Atomic Blonde One was on there. C-Town Mama from Seattle was on there. So there was some, great familiar. Beetroots was on there. Some members, leaderboard names that I see, and it was fun to see that. And I just have to tell you, John, it was fantastic. I'm really enjoying working out with Susie. So, I told you guys last week when I came back from London, having met the UK trade coaches, I am pretty much exclusively running with the UK trade coaches. And I have to tell you, I am beyond impressed with each one of them. Each one of the four, between Jermaine, Jocelyn, Susie, and John, they are fantastic. So working out with Susie and the Susie Striders was really, really fun. And then I did a 20-minute walk plus run with my boy John Husking and Club Husky. And he played tracks that were also amazing. He started off that with Sheryl Crow's All I Want to Do, Prince's I Want to Be Your Lover, No Doubts, Don't Speak, Counting Crows, Big Yellow Taxi, to Depeche Mode's Just Can't Get Enough. So the music was what got me, and it was an awesome warm up to a run that I then did after. So I used that as my warm up because it was a kind of a walk run. So for somebody like me that's kind of just getting acclimated to the tread and working out more, I got to tell you, it was exactly what I needed to start my week. But I do want to share one thing with you guys, and I will say that after working out on a regular tread down in Florida and coming home this week and being able to work out on my Peloton tread, there is definitely a difference. And John, in the past, I would have said that you could absolutely have just used the app and gone on a tread, and people didn't have to buy the tread because it didn't really make so much difference. I take it back. I absolutely take it back. There is no question that being able to have the privilege of running on a Peloton tread is a game changer. My back was sore from running on a regular tread. It's night and day. It's night and day.
Especially if you're going from a non-Peloton treadmill that's belt driven to a slat belt, style tread plus. I mean, you probably felt like you were pounding on pavement on whatever brand that treadmill was.
It was an awful brand, whatever it was. And in fact, I have a letter going into my management in my apartment to say I need a Peloton tread in the gym.
Here we go, Karen.
Especially if I'm going to be training for my marathon, I need a decent treadmill to be there. But you know what?
I think you just need to get a baby tread.
No, it doesn't.
Just the Peloton baby tread.
My husband will divorce me. I mean, he will just absolutely. No, I mean, the fact that I was able to get a bike in my apartment was a big enough deal. So we're going to have to figure out how I can get one in the gym. And it was funny because I started soliciting all the occupants, like all the people that lived in the building. I was like, can you write letters to management and tell them we need
get a petition.
I'm getting a petition going. So
was that your last pick? Do you have any more?
No. I'm going to move to the floor. I got to move to the floor. Right. I only have two there.
Oh wait, we got more.
On the floor. I got to get to the floor. So on Thursday, I actually needed a recovery day, John. I was exhausted. I had done tons of running and cycling through the week, and I really needed a recovery day. My legs were on fire after, that pretty hard day on the tread. So on Wednesday, I started my day with some meditation, and I chose to go with Kira Michelle, since she was new on the platform, and I absolutely loved her 10-minute rest day meditation. It's from Monday the 15th, 10 a.m. And it was just exactly what I needed. I love her accent. She has that Australian accent, so it's kind of nice to hear. And I'm really enjoying working out with her. I then actually moved onto her 45-minute beginner yoga flow. So as you guys know, I'm very new to yoga, and I get very intimidated, with the Kristens and the Aditis and the others that are. And I mean, Kira's amazing, and she's an amazing yoga instructor, don't get me wrong, but I chose this beginner one, and it was fabulous, absolutely fabulous. It's back from July 19th, so it's an oldie, but it was 45 minutes. It was all kind of lower body, and again, exactly what I needed. I'd never worked out with her before. I was definitely nervous because she is so good, and especially with yoga, but I managed the class beautifully, and was really proud of myself. So those are my picks of the week.
Very nice. Well, I have a nice little trio of picks. Just three good ones. I'm going to start off with my boy Alex Toussaint. This is a hard one. AT always, he always works you, but his 30-minute Hidden Hills from Wednesday the 17th was a great class. It's great. Alex, he teaches a lot of his schedule. I feel like I don't get the chance to ride live with him as much. He does a lot of night classes, and then he has a Saturday afternoon club bangers. But every other Wednesday, he alternates and teaches the 7:30 a.m. Eastern time slot. So I always try to make it when he does that Wednesday morning class. So this was that one, and he was in a mood from the get-go. In pre-show, he talked about how mad he was at himself for going to Starbucks early in the morning before he went to the studio and paying $9 for a small iced coffee and a croissant. And he brought it up again, and he worked us on that ride like we owed him that $9. But it was a great hard class. With Alex, definitely I pretty much always recommend doing a warm-up ride before you ride with Alex, because it'll only benefit you. But it was a great playlist. DMX's "Lord Give Me a Sign" was my standout from the ride. And then my buddy Andy Spear. He's another instructor. He's got a schedule where he's always teaching on the tread in the evenings or on Sunday morning when it conflicts with my number one, Jen Sherman. So he taught Wednesday, also the 17th. He taught a 30-minute pop boot camp. So I did that one live, and he did take a bunch of requests on social media for the playlist for both of his classes that night, and he played my request, which is off of my favorite album of this year. I listen to it almost every day. It's John Mayer's Sabrock. He played his single off it, Last Train Home, which was it was during the running portion of boot camp. So it was just, and I gave our producer Chris the clip from that song, because it's just got such a great hook. But great boot camp. He played some Britney, Avril, Lizzo, Kelly Clarkson, Arcade Fire. So it was a nice mix of some different pop tracks. And then my third pick, I also don't give this instructor enough love, but I've really enjoyed riding with her, especially this past year, Emma Lovewell. She does a lot of 90s classes, 90s rock especially. But she did a 20-minute pop ride this past Thursday, the 18th. It was super fun. And the standout song was off of Ed Sheeran's new album, his song Overpass Graffiti, which actually is a great sort of high cadence, high paced song to ride to. So that definitely stood out. And then, she mixed in some Bieber, some Little Mix. She played Titanium by Sia and David Guetta, which is always a great song to hear in a class. It always gets you fired up. But kudos to Emma. And I had messaged her and said I was throwing that class in as my pick of the week, and she was very appreciative. So shout out to Emma.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to get you meditating. Come on, John.
I
Next week
know,
I want to
I
hear.
know.
Next week I want to hear, Ahmed, especially with it being like that you're off a lot this week. You're going to need some quiet time with Jackie and Jackson driving you crazy. So you'll need some meditation.
Ross is my guy. That's my meditation guy. You have a DT, I have Ross.
That's okay. Yeah, I have
It's
a
the
DT.
voice.
Maybe now I have Kira. Although a DT is my girl. She's so fantastic. I love her. But good. Well, hopefully, folks, that gives you a nice, array of stuff to pick from. We always like to hear what your picks of the week are. But yeah, I mean, there were more. But John John's very strict. He's only given me a little. I mean, I wanted to throw in Hannah Frankson's garage ride, which was amazing. There was tons of other things. So her garage. Garage.
Well, so
there was tons.
We should say happy Thanksgiving to all our friends in the States and anyone else outside of the U.S. that celebrates Thanksgiving, because we're off. No show next week.
Yes.
So
happy
we'll
Thanksgiving.
be back. We'll be back in 2 weeks. So we look forward to seeing everyone then.
With lots to share with you guys, because we'll have the finals with Dancing with the Stars. I'm sure there will be tons of stuff, although we gave you so much this week. Nicole, you can now, my Zags fangirl, you've got 2 weeks to listen to this show now, because there's going to be no show next week. So you can space this show since it's so long. You can space it out.
Hose it out.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So always fun. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Happy Thanksgiving, and have a safe and wonderful holiday with your family and friends. And we'll see you guys all soon. Bye from Maryland.
Yep. Happy Thanksgiving. Always appreciate you tuning in. And as always, we will see you on the leaderboard.
Thank you for watching Pelo Buddy TV, your source for everything Peloton, by the community, for the community. Work out with us using the Pelo Buddy TV leaderboard tag, and find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Pelo Buddy. Don't forget that we have a podcast available so that you can listen to us while on the move. Just search for Pelo Buddy TV on any major platform and hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode.